It came out like yesterday, and sorry, I didn't put things in there. Okay, so today. Words. So today you have, I'd like to start with a practice exit card on Delta Math. And you should have some brown paper out so that you can write stuff. There is a calculator within Delta Math. So, yeah, Delta Math. And just once you get an idea for that, then I'll hand out a review sheet. We'll go over any questions from the Delta Math that you just did. We'll have done. It's code locked, so I'll wait till everybody gets on to show you the code. We'll go over any questions from Delta Math, any questions from last week's exit card, and then I'll give you a review sheet. Yes?
So we get the extra back.
Yep. Okay, you guys into Delta Math yet? Yep? Okay. So once you submit, all the answers and work should show up, so check that out, and then we'll go over questions.
You can use a calculator.
There's a calculator on Delta Math.
Or just use
You can use your own, sure. Hey, are there questions, or are you guys still working? Still working? Okay. Okay, that people are now on their phones instead of doing stuff, Erin. Cool. So, questions about the exit card that you should have seen answers to once you submitted? Nothing? The last class, people were asking about the at most and at least. So just at least 3 days out of 6. All right, that one's a pain, because maybe they played it 3 days, 4 days, 5 days, or all 6 days. You need to calculate all of them and add them together. No questions? All right. Didn't hand back the things like I said I was going to do. However, I did put in the scores for the semester thing. So those are in.
Oh, wait,
Yes.
I do have a question.
Yeah. What's your question?
On the, it's like a child probability thing, and it says at most, but then they like, I thought that's the one where you like subtract the 0 scenario from the.
Well, what, at most what? What was the question? How was it worded specifically?
It said, what's the probability at most one of those 6 children will have the trait?
At most one. So that means you need to find chances that no one has the trait
Yeah,
and one has the trait and add them together.
but why add and not subtract since it's like at most 1, so it can be 1 or more?
Okay, at most one. If there's 2 people that have it, is that at most 1?
Oh, at most, meaning like it can only be
There
up to
are no
1?
more than one
Oh.
person that exhibits whatever.
Oh, okay.
So that's been what people have found. The problem is that they're reading it backwards.
Yeah.
Okay? Other questions with the delta math and the wording? Okay? Okay. And sorry, I didn't get these back to you. Giving you guys the exit card from last week. Look it over, let me know if you have questions. All right, looking at it, any questions?
The election of
Electing a
of
president?
vice president, and secretary, is that permutation because it's like, it matters which ones?
Does it matter what title you get?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you wanna be president, you don't wanna be the secretary. So permutation matters. When there's a title to each thing, what role did you get cast for? Are you Shrek, the ogre, or are you, the donkey? Other questions from the exit card? Last class, they asked about number 4, the salad bowl thing. Like picking a salad bowl, you gotta pick 2 different greens of the 4, well, doesn't matter what order. If you pick spinach then kale, or kale and spinach, we're gonna consider that the same thing. But then, how many different toppings were there? And there were different versions, but if there were 8 toppings to choose from, sorry, Emery, what?
No, like, I had a question about the test.
Okay, hold on. But this one, for each topping, you didn't have to take them, or you could take all of them if you wanted to. So each one, there's 2 ways to answer yes or no to peppers, yes or no to tomatoes, yes or no to cheese, yes or no to sunflower seeds, whatever. So it's, of the 4 lettuces, choose a combination of 2, and then 2 to the 8 different ways of choosing the toppings, on or off, and then 1 dressing. So what's your question on the test?
5. It's like the perpendicular parallel and
So on the vectors and matrix test that you just got back, perpendicular, parallel, or neither, a number of you did arithmetic wrong. So there's different versions. So dot product, x times x plus y times y. And you needed to remember, like, I hate it when it's written this way. I immediately rewrite the vector like this. This is positive 8 plus another positive 8, which is 16. A lot of you did the arithmetic wrong. And
okay.
that's it?
Yeah.
Okay. Other questions from the quiz or the test? Because they're not, these guys are not parallel either. If we do y over x and y over x, they're different slopes.
Is that not like the inverse slope?
They are reciprocals, which doesn't do anything. Negative reciprocals make them perpendicular, but these are just upside downs of each other.
So if it was like a positive 2 over 4, it would have been.
Now they'd be perpendicular.
Okay.
But that's not what you're given, so they are not perpendicular. Other questions? C and D. Of the students' AP exams and stuff?
No, of the exit
Oh. C and D of the exit card. The skirt. Skirts, okay. What did yours say?
She has 3 green skirts, 6 tie-dye, 2 gray, and 5 black. C is how many ways to choose 4 to take on vacation.
So how many skirts does she have in total?
And it's 16.
16. And she wants any group of 4.
Yeah.
That's a combination. That's C.
And then D was probability she chooses 1 green skirt, 2 tie-dye, and 1 black skirt.
So the specifics, now this isn't it, this isn't everything, but of the greens, choose 1, of the tie-dyes, choose 2, of the black ones, choose 1. Out of the total ways that she could have picked 4 skirts, total ways that she could have picked any 4 skirts is your answer from part C. So it was supposed to be a fraction, and you were supposed to actually evaluate this and get a number of 225 over 1820, something like that. Some of you reduced it, that's fine, you didn't need to. Okay? So again, there is a quiz tomorrow, and I didn't hand this out yet. One of the things you guys need to be able to do is identify if it's a permutation or combination, and then evaluate once you figure that out. Now, can you take the things out of your ears? What else in your? With Kira, well, sit with someone, like, not by yourself. You can sit with Kira, you can sit with someone, not all alone.
Is this the test?
No, so we did a practice exit card, which I'd like you to try before you leave. I need to give you the code for it. But, try this worksheet. Did I give you one, David?
No.
No, of course not, because I was right there. Kira, do you still have the code written down?
The exit card?
Yeah,
Is
never
that
mind.
Delta map?
Yeah, H25D9.
Can I take the quiz during lunch? That's we're taking a while. I'm not gonna be there, so.
All right then. So, Delta H25D9, and there's a calculator within Delta. And this is a practice prep thing on completion, H25. So I apologize that a lot of these are like reading. It's a lot of language-based stuff and yeah, working on it.
What is number 2? Widths and bars and spaces for a barcode.
Do you know what a barcode looks like?
Like on the back of the box.
Yeah.
So does it matter what the barcode looks like? Like, Senna, what do you think? Does it matter that there's the skinny, a fat, and really skinny, and white, kind of big white space? Does it matter? Yeah, because like, evidently, this white, black, white makes a 1. White, black, white makes a 1. But this, I don't know. It matters. So, was that a permutation or a combination? The bars. Permutation. It matters. What about dinner guests around a table? Combination? Thanksgiving? Do you guys fight over who gets to sit where? Or you do? So does it matter where you're sitting? Are you sitting next to the cousin that just farts through dinner the whole time? Or are you sitting next to your fun cousin that tells jokes and makes like mashed potatoes come out their nose?
What about the number 4, the one with the...
Completely ignores that reference. Okay, number 1, guests around a dinner table. That's permutation. It matters who you're sitting next to. Are you sitting next to the farting person or the one that's like snorting mashed potatoes? Sorry, what's your question?
For number 4, I don't know, like, would the spot matter if it's just soup?
If it's just
If
soup.
they're all the same thing.
Well, are they all the same thing?
Well, they're all the same soup, right?
15 different cans of soup lined up. If it's like
Oh.
all tomato soup, you're right. Like, I don't care. This tomato
But
soup,
like,
that's.
does it really matter where it goes on, like,
Oh.
I guess like.
Okay,
you mix it up.
marketing, you know, like you go to a grocery store and cereal boxes are huge, these big rectangles. It is more expensive to make it that shape than a cube. How come none of them are shaped like a cube? Because they want more face space. So how things are laid out and presented definitely makes a difference. So if you're the first can on the shelf, somebody might just walk up and just grab the first one. So maybe you want to put your more expensive ones there. I don't know. But I'd say that it says 15 different cans. It matters who goes first. Is it the tomato soup or is it the schmancy snapper turtle soup with sherry? I don't know. But I would say that it says different types of soup. That to me sounds like an arrangement. What about the yellow marbles? Combination, because it didn't matter that you picked this yellow marble, then that yellow marble. It's just that you have a group of 2.
But like, so like the placing soup, it doesn't matter where on the shelf you put them, as long as they're like on the shelf, right?
Well, since you say it doesn't matter, what if they're placed like that, and to see behind, like you have to move the tomato soup to see the vegetable soup, and then you have to look behind that to get to the minestrone soup, and and then navy bean soup. I don't know, I'm gonna run out of names of soups, but like, if you have to move each one to see that what's there, it matters. And I would argue it matters how they're lined up on a shelf. I used to work at a grocery store, and we had to line the shelves and make sure the labels were facing front. And we didn't do this, but I can imagine that now there's the vegetarian ones and the meat ones separated, because you don't want them intermingled. You want people to be able to find what they need to find.
But then this has things in the back of the store that way you walk past everything else.
Yes, IKEA is designed the way it is to be this like maze and this trap that you have to walk through everything. They're like, oh, here's the exit, and they tell you to go exactly the wrong way. Better never be a fire in the IKEA. No one's gonna be able to find their way out, ever. All right. Oops. Cancel. What do you think about the candles? What do you think? She said combination, someone else said permutation. Which one is it? Picking candles out of a box of 10. Doesn't matter, so is it a combination or permutation? Combination. So if I wanted to know how many ways I could have picked any 4 candles out of that 10 choose goal. Kara, what about 6? Placement of the top 10 finishers in the school spelling bee.
Permutation?
What makes you say permutation?
Because it says placement,
Because
so
it-
like you're getting first place or last place.
Because it says placement. That's the big word. And for the soup cans, they're saying they're different soups. If they were all the same, if they were all like yellow marbles, that's more of a combination thing. Bella, how about 7? Choosing 2 colors of paint out of 20 to paint the walls and trim of the bedroom.
I like the combination.
I would say combination. 3rd period said, well, what if this, you know, doesn't matter that this, the first one you choose is for the walls and the second one is for the trim. They were like, I read this as order mattered, like, which one are you picking? I agree with you. To me, it's, I'm picking 2 out of 20. I can change it up and be like, ooh, this one's gonna be the wall and that one's the trim, and then switch it in the other, like I can do whatever I want. It's just these 2 are the colors, so I see that as a combination. Monte, what about the last one? Choosing 12 pencils out of a set of 36.
That's a combination.
Combination. We okay with those? All right. So can you guys work on the rest of the sheet, talk to each other? If you have questions, let me know.